Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Mark Smith. I am Group Managing Director of People to People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. It's Friday afternoon, 12:30, which means that we are live on Facebook here to talk about the Australian and New Zealand employment market. Now, what's all that noise going on behind me? Well, that's because I'm actually in the People to People Sydney CBD office this afternoon, and we're going through a refurbishment. This has been going on for a couple of months. The entire crew has been working from home this period of time, and we're right at the end. We're just about to actually move into our new office. But there's still a lot of tradies here, so if you see somebody walk behind me, it may very well be somebody doing some work, and there'll probably be some noise as well, so bear with me whilst we do this. You might find this interesting though. These behind me here are phone booths, and this is because interviews are changing in the 21st century, and certainly after the pandemic, in that this is where our consultants will get privacy to do online video interviews with the people that they will be meeting and the talent that they will be then representing to our clients. So lots of changes. But it is a Friday afternoon before a very, very wet weekend. I think we're expecting about 40 millimetres today. There's a picture, I think, Jaden, that you've got. That's Sydney Harbour right now, down by the quay. I mean, it is wet out there, and it's going to be worse even tomorrow. And one of our consultants actually lives in Coffs Harbour, and James Dalton, for those of you who are in the accounting field. And this is a picture from Coffs Harbour. There, it's flooding in the mid-north coast. So a shout out to our candidates, clients, and obviously James, who is on the mid-north coast up there as well. So if you have any comments during the broadcast, then you can make them. We can see them live just on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn these days, and we'll come back to you pretty quickly. But today we'll go through our regular numbers section. We'll be focusing on the unemployment rate that came out just last week. Then we'll be crossing to Crystal in our Melbourne team. She's got a fabulous opportunity she wants to talk to us about. And then finally, we'll catch up with James from our Sydney team. And James has got some news from across the ditch. Although he's based in Sydney, he's got some news from across the ditch in our New Zealand team. And of course, he'll have an opportunity to talk about as well. So let's get into it, and let's start with our regular numbers section. So this week, in terms of the ABS results that came out relating specifically to employment, was the highly anticipated unemployment numbers, and they were released just yesterday, and the results were remarkable. And here they are here. And let me just read out a couple of the highlights from this release. Firstly, the unemployment rate decreased to 5.8%. This is way beyond expectations. Most economists were expecting the unemployment rate to go down to 6.3. It actually dropped to 5.8%. The participation rate remained steady at 66.1%. But employment actually increased to pre-pandemic levels. We're just over 13 million Australians in work at the moment. And the most interesting thing, and I'll get to it in a second, is that the underemployment rate increased to 8.5%. So we'll have a quick look at that. Finally, monthly hours worked increased by 102 million hours. It was a good result. And you would have seen some smiles from the government when those numbers came out, and very much reflects a more buoyant market than we expected. Let's see what it looks like graphically. If we can move to the next slide. This is the unemployment rate in graphical form. You can see that the huge increase at the time of COVID. Then it peaked just under 7.5%. Everyone was expecting it to go to double figures. It didn't. And now we're back down to 5.8%, which is less than where we were back in August of 14. So if we can then have a look at the next slide, Jaden, which is really about the employed people. And I wanted to show this to everybody because it's that V-shaped result in terms of the number of people in work in Australia. So we're back over 13 million, and we're back to where we were pre-COVID. So that is a really good result. But there's always a but in terms of the employed people. And this is the only downside to the numbers that came through yesterday, and that is the underemployment rate. So if you can flick to that for me, and you can see this little tick up at the end there. and that is really unusual. So there's a tick up in the underemployment. So there are more people looking for work, or they weren't getting as many hours that they expected in these results in February. So the other interesting thing there is always the gap between women, men, and the overall there. So that little tick at the end. If you're a bloke, then underemployment is back to almost pre-pandemic levels, but except for this little tick up. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and women as well. So interesting results as they came through. So now let's move on. I'm going to take a seat before we have a chat to Crystal. And whilst I do that, there's a new opportunity with one of our good clients in South Australia, and we've got a video from Peter Seaman, our MD. In South Australia. If you want to pop that up for me now.
Are you an experienced business development manager looking for your next career move? My name is Peter. I'm from P2P in Adelaide. I'm partnering with Flinders Ports Group to recruit an experienced new business development manager to support them in this newly created role. This is a great opportunity to be a part of not only a growing organisation, but a new division within the group. Is hunting new business your passion? Do you love to meet new people and build relationships? Are you solutions focused? If you answered yes to these 3 questions, this is the role for you. As the business development manager, you'll be creating new opportunities, collaborating with your clients to provide them with supply chain and logistics solutions, and negotiating service agreements. This opportunity is not only exciting, it is an opportunity to build your own success story in this newly created role. To read the full position description and learn more about the technical skills and requirements, please click the link below or contact me on 08 8317 4800 for more information. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Wow, opportunities around the country. So one there in South Australia. And now I'm talking to Crystal from our Melbourne team. Good afternoon,
Hello.
Crystal.
Good afternoon, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I'm surrounded by, I could probably show you here a little bit there. There is just crap everywhere in this office as we try and put it back together again. But I know the team is really excited about hopefully getting ourselves back into the office next week. But the other exciting thing in Melbourne this weekend is the football, hey? It's back. And I know that you're a big Saints fan. You're looking forward to it on Sunday?
Big, huge. It's, can't wait for Sunday. It's back where it belongs, Mark, the AFL, and as you know, huge supporter of the Saints. And the lid's off. Look, I think we're going to do it this year. But fingers crossed.
Oh, we seem to be having a little bit of trouble with Crystal's internet there. Whilst we see if we can get that sorted out, why don't we?
Finally, it's been a long time coming, but I'm very excited to have.
Okay, okay, you're back. You seem to have a little bit of a problem with your internet there, Crystal. What we're going to do is we're now going to cross to James Moore in our Sydney team, because whilst we see if we can sort that out and talk about Crystal's opportunity there in Melbourne. James, are you there?
Hi, Mark. Happy Friday.
G'day. Yeah, poor old Crystal's obviously having some trouble with her internet there, but she is a mad. We didn't hear it all, but she's actually a mad Saints supporter. She rusted on completely. So Sunday she'll be hopefully she'll be down at the Marvel Stadium, and she'll be seeing them as well. But that's not what we're here to talk to you about. That's not what we're here to talk to you about. You've got something really interesting from our from our New Zealand crew. Shannon Barlow over there got quite a lot of publicity hitting the different newspapers, stuff.co.nz, etc. with the release of some stats. Do you want to share some of that with us?
Yeah, so Jaden will pop up the link after this, but I just wanted to go through the gist, which was based in the general manager Shannon Barlow for our frog recruitment team in New Zealand have said that A year on from the first COVID-induced national lockdown, it appears we're working more hours for less money, which was according to a Twitter poll held by the agency itself. Shannon goes on to say that as much as the country has been yo-yoing in and out of lockdowns this year, employees have had to adapt and readapt to an ever-changing work environment. The pandemic has led to an increase in burnout, with people having to work longer hours and the working from home situation, which often blurs between the line of home life and work life.
Yeah, doing more work for less money, I think, is the thing. And no wonder that hit, it got picked up across several different agencies over there. And I think it also, staffing industry analysts, I think, in the States picked it up as well. So what do you reckon our experience is here in Australia with...
To be honest, I think it's something quite similar that we're seeing in Sydney as well. I mean, if I must admit, I guess the difference being, for myself personally, when you jump on a train, it's an hour and a half trek for me. So I can sort of disassociate myself from work with that thing. But I guess now it's a 5-meter walk to the other room for me to grab my laptop. So I think it is very different. I do agree. I think our last P2P posted on average showed that people working about 45 minutes extra a day. So I guess when things like your phone and your laptop are so much more accessible if you're working from home, it's no shock that an extra 45 minutes or probably even longer for some of these places is definitely the case.
Yeah, no. So it's one of the. I mean, it's great to see everybody back in work with the unemployment numbers that I just showed there. But
absolutely,
I think everyone's working, but they're also working longer, but not getting paid much. I will have to investigate, I think, pay rises next week. I think that will improve. Now, you've also got an opportunity to talk to us about what role are you working on?
Yes, I am working on a role, and it is twofold at the moment. And what I mean by that is I'll discuss the position, which is a legal secretary based within insurance. It's going to be covering general insurance. However, there will be a focus on professional indemnity as well as class actions for a global firm. It's going to be supporting up to about four fee earners. 3 to 4, just depending on the team that you go in, because there are a number of roles available there. Salary is 75 to 85 as a package, and it's going to include a lot of hands-on work. So it is quite a senior position and complex billing as well.
So is there any sort of opportunity to work from home for this one at all?
There is. They are a global firm, and one thing that we have seen is a lot of the larger firms, I think, got on the front foot and decided to adopt a work from home policy, whatever it may be. I think that's really dependent on the firm, but this one in particular, yes, you are able to do 1 to 2 days working from home if required.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great, because I've noticed that I know that just anecdotally, some professional services firms are not allowing their support people to work from home, which is quite controversial and it's a bit of an added benefit, isn't it, that you can actually do that?
Yeah, I think when I personally take job briefs now, I think one of the top 3 things I ask is, what's the work from home policy, because it has become such a crucial part of a talent seeker's job search. And we need to find out, I think, as soon as possible, what the reality is going to be of that, and if they can actually do it, and if it's feasible amongst the firm. I think for the most part, a lot of firms have been really good with it. They've been adopting some sort of policy where it can be done, whether it's a schedule amongst the team or whether it's, just 1 to 2 days work from home, and simple as that. I think it really depends on the actual firm itself. Some can't do it just of how they're set up dynamically, but look, for the most part, it has been quite good, but it is very important that we find out straight away.
Yeah, great. All right. I nearly said fabulous there, and I don't know if you've watched me in these things before. I say it every single week. It's embarrassing.
I've heard it a lot, actually.
So I have to stop that. Rightio, James. Well, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. If somebody wants to get in touch with you and talk to you specifically about this role, what's the best number to catch you on?
Yeah, so my direct line is 02-8270-9778, and email as well is james.moore, so MOORE, @people, numeric 2, people.com.au.
Fantastic. Radio. Thanks, James. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. I can see that the job is up there in the comments. So if you do have, if you'd like to take a look at that and then give James a call, then please go ahead. Rightio. Let's just see. We're going to try one more time, I think, with Crystal in Melbourne. And if that doesn't work out, then we'll get.
We'll
wow,
mate,
you're there. I mean, you could.
I'm here.
You're good. You could sort of like break into the St Kilda song in the same.
Don't make me do it, Mark. I'll do it. I'll do it.
So you've got an opportunity you want to talk to us about.
I do. It is a little bit of a different one for me. So the role is a trade sales or trade counter sales assistant. So you'd be joining a specialist timber flooring company based in Richmond. So essentially what they do is they're a leading supplier of products in the timber floor industry. So sell a lot to trades and things like that. This role is focused on sales as well as customer service. So what they're really looking for is someone that has ideally, got strong sales experience, but has also come from like a hardware or like a trade background. So things like Bunnings, Reese Plumbing, all that kind of thing. This is an essential. They'll definitely consider someone with a strong sales background and I guess willing to take on that training and is interested in, I guess, trade. So in terms of day-to-day, you've got, as I said, a lot of face-to-face, but you've got a lot of phone sales as well, picking and packing of orders, invoicing, quoting, and a lot of business development as well. So they're really looking for someone that is confident in building relationships with trades when they come in so that they're going to come back to them essentially for those products and anticipate any needs and upcoming jobs and all that kind of thing. So this role, as I mentioned, is based in Richmond. The working days are Monday to Friday, so no weekend work, which I know is very attractive, and the salary on offer is 65 plus super. They're a small team, but yeah, really great, well-established company and have that really family feel about them. So yeah, a very cool opportunity.
I probably should. You know what? With they need a trades background. I reckon I could ask a few blokes around it.
Can you? That'd be great.
To give you an idea.
Excuse me.
Yes, I'm not making. I go just maybe tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, we've got this opportunity in Richmond, in Melbourne, for you."
Perfect.
So
it's a great weather in here, and the footy's back, so why not make the move?
Yeah. So, and so one last thing: any other benefits that I should be aware of before we let you go?
No, I think, yeah, as I said, Monday to Friday, they definitely offer, dinners and drinks and do a lot of events throughout the year for their staff. So as I said, it's got that really great family feel about them and, yeah, really great company to be a part of.
Great. All right. If somebody wants to learn more and talk to you about it, what's the number they can get?
My direct line is 0390987429, or you can catch me on my email, so crystal.spittle@people2people.com.au.
All right. Well, thank you. Sorry about all the technical issues that we had there, but thanks for joining us for the very first time, Crystal, and go the Saints.
My pleasure. Go the Saints.
Excellent. All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Great. Thanks for that. All right. Well, let's. So we're getting towards the end of the broadcast here. So there's a couple of things that I'd like to wrap up with. One is our regular Twitter poll. So we obviously run a poll each week. Last week we were asking the question: should you announce if you're pregnant on LinkedIn? Is that something that you should do? I actually thought because that was what Jess Bales from our Adelaide office asked me last week, and I thought I really don't know whether you should do that. Well, the internet has spoken with about 700 or 800 people actually voting on this one, and here are the results. So 85% of people said, no, you should not do that. But I thought I'm actually surprised it wasn't full on 100%, but nearly 1 in 8 people are saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, it's something that you should do. So make the announcement on LinkedIn. I can understand Facebook, but LinkedIn, that's a little bit different. So, yeah, really interesting one. I would, whilst I'm talking about surveys here, by the way, our consulting team are in the process of putting together our market report. It's called the P2P Post, and we launched that in mid to late April. And we're actually conducting the surveys for that. So if you get an email in your inbox, please take a look at that. And if you're a hiring manager and one of our consultants gives you a call and wants to ask you a couple of questions, please participate, and we'll share those results in our market report. But this week's poll. So if you want to pop that up for me, Jaden, this is the one that we've got. So what are you really looking for? What do you look for in an employer? Is it something that are you looking for meaningful work, career progression, salary and benefits, or is it flexibility? What's the most important thing? We really want to see what is it that are driving people to make a decision to change jobs or to move to a new employer. So check that one out. It's on our Twitter feed at People to People, and you'll see it pinned to the top of our account there. So jump on that one for us as well. Rightio. Well, the last thing I'd like to mention is the fabulous work, I've just used fabulous again, of Erin Devlin in our Melbourne office. She's launched her new book, Get the Job You Really Want. And I just wanted to mention that. So it's going to be launched very shortly. We'll pop in the links there, an opportunity for you to order that from Booktopia. Jump on that because if you're looking for a role now, there are lots of tips in there. Can highly recommend jumping on that particular publication. Rightio, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us again on Friday afternoon. We will see you again next week, 12:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, for the next employment update from People to People and Frog Recruitment. See you then.